I didn't say click on database. I said click on new tab. Click on new tab. After clicking on new tab, you'll see that search bar pop up. So search for your index.html. And if there's anything inside the index.html, you can just clear it out. I think the problem is that this replit is beautiful. So please, I think I might just have to move on because I don't want to take so much of our time. So yeah, if it's empty and nothing is there, then that's actually what it's supposed to be. Okay. So please, let's move on so we can save our time. So we're looking at the common HTML elements, and we're trying to see how we can experiment with the different HTML elements that we have. So if you recall, in the previous slide, we talked about tags, elements, and attributes, and we saw that when an HTML document starts, it usually starts with this flag, doc type HTML, inside brackets, inside angle brackets. You can see VS Code has actually suggested that to me already. So you can actually type that out. HTML. Okay. So your browser, that this is an HTML file. That is basically all this does. It's just a tag saying this is an HTML file and treat it as such. So anything that it's going to do, it's going to treat it as an HTML file. Are we following? If we're following, please react, please react. All right. So let's try to replicate what we saw for this basic structure here. So we see the next thing here is HTML lang equals ES, the angle brackets. This line, have we been able to do this line successfully? Have we opened and closed the HTML tag? If you have, please react. Okay, moving on. The next thing we see that, okay, inside that head tag, we have some other things inside. You see this meta, car set, UTF-8, viewports, blah, 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 all this information with the title. And well, the truth is to actually include this in your code, but for the purpose of learning, let's actually add them. So we see here, meta car set is equal to UTF-8. So open meta car sets. You can see some of these attributes to me, and you can see what they are about when you hover over them. So you can actually read up on some of these attributes and the tags when you hover over them, but that's not for our lesson today. So car set is equal to UTF-8, and you can close that tag. So you see you have meta car set UTF-8, just the same way we have it here. And all this tells the browser is that, okay, when you're reading this in machine language, the format of this HTML file is going to be UTF-8. All right, you don't need to understand that right now, but that is basically what this line is saying. And also, you have this other one, meta, viewports, content, blah, 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 and all this. So you can actually add all those. But like I said, it's not entirely necessary because your browser is actually going to infer some of those HTML tags. And let me add the title though. I'll add the title tag. You inspire. Right? Yep, and close it up. So I want us to look at what I've done here now. And I want us to look at the slide that I have up here. And let's try to see if we can see any differences. I'll pull them side by side so that we can see. Let me close this. All right, can we see any differences? There is a mistake that has been made. I want you to see if you can find out what that mistake is. Something is missing. That's what I'm trying to say. Something is missing. Can anyone tell me what is missing? That is, apart, forget about the body tag. All right. Yeah, I can see some responses. The head is not there. And that's correct. So, like I said, the purpose of the head tag, let me come back to my slide. The purpose of the head tag is that it contains information about the HTML page, like the title, the car set, the way it should appear in the viewport of your browser. It just contains information. So any information about this site that you don't want to appear directly on the site itself is what you put into the head tag. So we're going to have the head tag. And for those using VS Code, if you type head, these options will pop up. And all you need to do is just to press enter, and you have your opening and closing tab. So I'm going to take this from here. I'll Control X to cut them, and then I'll Control V to paste them. Okay. So let's try to make this look better so that it's more organized. Okay. I want it to look clean. All right. I don't know what's. I'll turn off the AI feature. Let me put them on for now. All right. So yeah, this is what we have now. We have a website that is titled You Inspire, and we are now ready to add content to our website. So, like I said before, what is going to be visible on the page is going to be put in the body tag. So anything that is going to be in the body tag is going to be visible on the page. And so we can see that the body tag comes immediately after the head tag. So let's try to add our body tags. Like I said, you can just type body, press enter, and then you have, you have your opening and closing body tags. Are we following? If you're following, please react. I just want to make sure that we're still together. Are we still together, guys? All right, thank you. So, like I said, anything you want to be visible on the page has to be inside the body tag. So I'm going to put my name in here. My name is Ayo. I didn't actually tell you guys my name at the beginning. Well, the person that was supposed to do intro for me was not around. So I guess, okay, no, I did. I think I did. I actually did introduce myself. And I asked you guys to connect with me on LinkedIn. So anybody that hasn't connected with me on LinkedIn, please do so. So yeah, what we want to be visible on the page right now is, let's say you can put in your name. You can just put in your name, right? And if you're not actually clear, you can actually have something like this. Something like this, where the opening and closing tags are on the same line, and then you put the content in between. But why we do this is because we want it to look clean. We want it to be structured like this so that it's easier to read. So I want us to now Control S to save this. For those on Replit, I think it will save automatically, so you don't need to actually save yourself. I don't know what this. All right, someone has a question. You can just drop your question in the chat box. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box. I may not be able to see YouTube. But if you have a question, please drop them in the chat box. The forward stroke with the body. Okay, let me I'm just going to assume what you're talking about. You're talking about why the forward stroke is not here, right? So for the opening tags have this format. They just have the name of the tag inside the angle brackets. You just have the bracket, name of the tag, and then the closing. But the closing tag for this, for the body, my LinkedIn handle. I'll settle that later, don't worry. So I'm sorry, like I was saying, the body tag, the closing body tag, the closing tag must have this /. The opening tag does not need it. In fact, it should not have it. It's just the way we differentiate between the opening and the closing tags. So that anywhere you see this, you know that, okay, this is an opening body tag. And when you see this, you know that, okay, this is a closing body tag. We need this / on the closing tag to differentiate between opening and closing tags. Is that clear? Are you good now? Yeah, all right. So I want us to be able to see what we have built. So like I said, press Ctrl S to save your file so that you don't lose your progress. And then I want you to actually locate where your HTML file is. All right. So let me come out of the presentation so that I can show my desktop screen. You know, I said something at the beginning that I'm an average tech bro. I just want to point out that the difference between me and an average tech bro is that I don't watch anime. So if anybody's looking at my wallpaper and thinking, ah, this guy watches anime, please don't be deceived. I don't watch anime. If you are still watching anime, God will have mercy on you. But yeah, so I want you to locate where your HTML file is. And for me, I stored mine on my desktop and inside this uInspire folder. So if you can't locate it, for those who are using, this is for those who are using VS Code now. If you can't locate it, I want you to just come here, right click on this file, or rather just hover over it, and then you'd see the path that the file is stored. Mine is stored here as users, user, desktop, uInspire, index.html. So it's just for you to locate that particular file where it is. So you can open it, and then here you have your index.html file. Can we all see our index.html files? Have we located our files? For VS Code users, have we located our files? Please find your HTML file. Once you locate your file, just React. Another way for VS Code users to locate their files is that you can come here, you know, open this sidebar, right click on this, and then click on Reveal in File Explorer. That is, on this sidebar, you right click on the file, click on Reveal in File Explorer. Okay, so it will open up the folder where your file is stored. Are we good now? Please react if you've been able to find your file. Okay. I think majority of reactors to open up this file. Right, double click to open it up. And there you have your HTML file with your name right inside. We have the HTML file with, sorry, mobilers, I will get to you in a second. You have your HTML file right here. So now for the mobilers, I think what you can do is you can actually, if you click on if you click on the option, the rightmost option, the bottom bar, Mr. Goodness, Mr. Emma, please, the attendance. Mr. Goodness and Mr. Emma, please help us with the attendance so that people can.
No, you can continue. We'll drop the attendance soon.
Oh, Ms. Miriam.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, ma. You didn't do intro for me.
I'm so sorry. In fact, I was having network glitch, that's why. We'll do the intro once you're done.
Don't worry, I've already introduced myself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So for mobilers, I honestly don't know how I'm going to help mobilers out now because the, the interface is quite different for mobilers. Mr. Sam said you should do outro for me. We'll see about that. So for mobilers, the options at the bottom of the screen, where you have something that looks like a desktop, a mobile phone, and all that. The rightmost option, you see something that looks like 3 books or 3 windows placed on top of each other. Click on it, and then you scroll down. Sorry, click on it and then click on New tab. Click on it and click on New tab, and then you scroll down and look for Preview, and click on that Preview. So I believe that if you click on Preview, you will have your app visible. You have your index edition app visible. All right. So like I was saying, we have our website here. Not database, please. New tab. When you scroll down, you see a preview option. So try to click on that preview and see what it brings up. I hope that actually starts up the index file. So I'm going to go back to my code editor now so that we can try to add some more stuff. Okay. So yeah, talking about tags. Like I said, we have various kinds of tags that we can use. And these tags follow what we call a semantic pattern. All right. So used specifically for certain things. It's just the same way maybe when you're using Microsoft Word or Excel, and then you see there's that when you click on a particular kind of text, there's that place that appears at the top bar where you can select this is a heading, this is a paragraph, this is like H2, H1, things like that. So we have that exact same format here in HTML. We use H1 to H6 tags for headings, P for paragraph tags, OL and UL for lists, A for links, image for IMG for images, and table for tables. So you can see a basic structure here, and we're going to actually try to replicate, this structure right here. So I don't know, this location that is here, the O2 Arena in Ilorin. Do we have O2 Arena in Ilorin? Okay, mobilers are saying that it didn't work. So if you can't actually get it to work on mobile, I think you might just have to follow along and then try to make it work on maybe your final year students. You guys should have laptops. I don't want to assume because I know say country hard, but then how are you going about your projects if you don't have a laptop? So please, if you don't have, if your mobile isn't going through, someone said Tinubu, I understand. We'll allow you to breathe. We won't suffocate you. So please just try to follow along, and then we would see how we can implement that on laptops, or maybe get a better application to make use of mobile guys. So, but if you're on your desktop and it's working, let's push ahead. Mobile guys, please just try to follow along. All right. So, like I said, we want to replicate this structure here. I was asking if we have O2 Arena in Ilorin besides Tipa Garage, right? You guys know about the O2 Arena we have in Ilorin. All right. So let's try to replicate this structure right here inside our body tag. And yeah, like I wanted to actually point out, you can see that everything that is inside the head tag here, we can't see it inside the browser. Even the tags themselves, they don't appear, but what we have inside the body tag appears and it shows up. So that's just to let us know that anything outside the body tag is not going to be visible on the page, but everything we put inside the body tags will be visible on the page. So like I said, let's try to implement this structure right here. Okay. So we have an H1, and that H1 has the text arena. I think it's out of our garage, the O2 arena in Ilorin. I think it's out of our garage. So let's be specific. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm typing. So yeah, we have O2 arena of our garage. So I want us to see something peculiar about this. If we save this with Control S and then we come back to our browser, we don't see the changes immediately, but if we refresh, we see O2 arena of our garage Ilorin appearing on the browser. Desktop users, please, are we at this point now? Desktop users, hello. Those using Replit on desktop, have you also been able to replicate this? All right. If you're having any issues or questions, just drop them on the no, for mobilers, index.html saves automatically. Yeah, for the mobile guys, Replit saves your file automatically, so you don't need to actually save. So if you're able to follow along on mobile, there's a preview option inside that new tab option I showed you guys. So try to follow along with that. And if not, then you just have to bear with us as we are getting it done here. So Replit guys on desktop, I hope you've been able to get to this point as well. So if you notice, there's a difference between when we just had the text IODG and when we have, this embodied inside H1. Okay, I want us to see the difference. Let me just remove this for now. So if we come back here and refresh, you see that IODG is looking so small here. It's not bold also, it's small. But when we had the text inside H1, when we have it inside an H1 and we save, it looks bold. So what that simply tells you is that H1, the browser recognizes H1 tag as a header or as a heading, and so it applies boldness and a certain font size to this particular text that is inside the H1 tag. So let's try with the other tags. We have H2, we have H3, and we have H4, H5, H6. So let's just copy, Control V, Control C. I see and V keys are so close together. Mobile Vex, please. I think we'll have to find a better, but then I recommend that everything we're doing, we try to do on a laptop. But then I recommend that everything we're doing, we try to do on a laptop. All right? So, all right, please, let's try to, even if you don't have a laptop, you can just, borrow someone's laptop and try to make use of that for our classes. So I want us to save this now and let's look at, so God will fight for you, don't worry, God will fight for you. Let's go back to the browser and refresh. So as we can see, we have IODG, same text, so like we can see here, H1 is the largest size, H2, the next largest, H4, H5, H6, down like that. So you have different sizes based on tag that's being used. So like we see here, recognizes the H tags as headings. And so we'll give them either a bold or a bigger font size, depending on the degree that you attach to the tag. So let's go back to our slide, the tag. So let's go back to our slide and see what we are implementing there next. Okay. So an H1 tag that says go to arrange. Okay. I just want us to follow along. Even if you can't type everything, you can type whatever you want actually. This is just my own setup. All right. So let's stop at the H3 and let's just see how far. So you come back here and then you refresh. And you can see now you have different heading tags with different font sizes, all being bold because of your H1 tags. So anywhere you see a H1 tag, just know, okay, this is a heading and it's going to have a bold style. If you're following, please react. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now let's look at what else we have here. We have a P tag. So what is a P tag? A P tag is basically just a paragraph. It stands for paragraph. So a P tag is maybe you have any little text that you want to just display, or let me even pull up a website and just show you maybe what you want to use header. And I can bet you that this is either going to be an H1 or an H2 tag. This particular element right here. You don't need to open this site, please. I'm just showing it as like an example. So this is probably an H1 tag. But let's say you have some text, maybe it's an article that you're writing a web page for, and you want to have like sections for the text. Usually for things like this is what you use a P tag for. Just text that applies to maybe the header or a subsection or the page that you're for. You normally use a P tag for that. So that is a P tag here. We can just add literally a paragraph. That is what it is. Okay, we just have small texts. I think the AI was trying to recommend something to me. Let me see. The most anticipated event of the year is here. Yeah. So if you can't see, I want to believe everybody has gotten to this point. You've been able to type out something inside your P tag, and you already have this one set up. So let's save this and let's look at how the P tag is going to appear in the browser. Where's the window? Yes. All right. So refresh. Yeah, you can see it appears like regular text. There's no bolding, there's no font size, everything is just, it's much smaller than the other guys. So like I said, that's what we use the P tag for. It's basically for paragraphs, So let's look at the other tags. We have OL, and OL stands for ordered list. Did we get that? OL stands for ordered list. What is an ordered list? An ordered list is simply a list where you have numberings. Okay? It's simply a list where you have numberings. So we're going to add our own ordered list here. And inside the ordered list, if you just write whatever you want inside and say one, let's even leave that on. Just say this, then we save it and you refresh. It's just going to appear as though, I mean, you said it's an ordered list. So where's the order? Do we have to add the numbers manually ourselves? What needs to happen is that you need to make use of the LI tag. The LI tag is a tag that compulsorily has to be used inside an OL. And if you're not using it inside an OL, what I mean is that if you're going to use an OL, that is an ordered list, every list item must be inside an LI tag. You can see the AI has already suggested to me what should be inside. So I actually want to type it out so that you can follow along. All right, so we have one LI tag. What's on our slides? Okay. Then we have another LI tag. We don't do IOMAF in this place. We don't do IOMAF, please. Anybody listening to IOMAF, you're not listening to music. I have no idea what you're listening to. So yeah, now we have an ordered list. All right, someone has gotten it on mobile version. Please, a round of applause for Miss Esther. A round of applause for Miss Esther. I don't know if Miss Esther can put other people through, but I don't know. I can't pause my class right now because of the mobile guys. But if someone has gotten it, means other people can actually get it. All right. So yeah, like I was saying, now we have an ordered list and we have list items. So let's save, go back to our browser and refresh. And we see I didn't add these numbers. These numbers came here and we added automatically by the browser because the browser saw that we used an ordered list with list tags. All right. Did we get that? Did we get that, guys? React. If you got that, if you have your ordered list working with the numbers, just React. For the mobile guys that didn't get it, I'm so sorry. So sorry. You can ask, you people are supposed to actually, you're supposed to confront your school and tell them that they should be buying laptops for all final year students. I mean, if you're in support, say I. Okay, nobody wants laptops, right? Okay, so someone type I. All right, so like I was saying, don't worry, we'll carry the motion forward. We'll carry the motion forward. We should tell your students, to actually push the motion forward too, so that it won't just be one voice talking. Back to our class, aside from OL, we have UL, and UL means unordered list. So if we have ordered lists, we also have unordered lists. And unordered lists are just lists that, like we said, they don't have an order. So let's change this here. Let's change this to UL. So if you're not using anti-gravity, you probably would have to, and an extension too, that helps to complete your tags. You'd have to change them like in both places. For me, I have an extension that automatically changes both my opening and closing tags. So, but if you want that extension, I can send you guys a list of extensions for VS Code that can make your work a lot easier. One of them is this opening and closing tags. So you can come here to this sidebar, click on this particular one that looks like, blocks, search for auto close, or is it auto rename? Yeah, auto close tag or auto rename tag. I think I saw two of them. Yeah, these two, you can install them. It's not compulsory, it's not necessary. I just want to show you that it's actually possible to have your tags being closed for you automatically. That's what I'm using right here, so you don't get confused. So yeah, we've changed this to UL. So let's see what it actually looks like. Browser, if we come back and refresh, you see we have disks here. We have these circles here. So it's not an ordered list anymore. It means that the items can appear in any order and they will be, shown having this particular kind of list format. So yeah, that's what we have for the LIs. Now, links. This is a very, very, very important aspect of HTML. Links. Someone is asking if we must use the LI tags for UL. Yes, if you're creating a list, whether ordered list or unordered list, you have to use the LI tags. If you don't use the LI tags, it will just be like you're writing plain text. Let me show you. So if you come back and refresh, yeah, it just appears like you're writing plain text. So it has to be inside LI tags. All right? Yeah, so yeah, I was talking about links. Links are a very important aspect of HTML because links are the ways that we navigate from page to page. So if you come back to this website I was showing you guys earlier, you can see you have different links. How to know something is a link is that when you hover over it, at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see something like HTTPS, www. blah, blah, blah. So that thing at the bottom here that appears here, you know that, okay, that's a link. If you can hear me, can you react, please? Can you all hear me? Little Soldier Boy, I think it's just you. Maybe it's your network. So yeah, how you know something is a link in a page is that when you hover over it, that thing appears at the bottom of the screen, showing you that, okay, this is the link you're going to navigate to. You click on this particular thing. So if I click on this, it takes me to a brand new page, right? So how do we create links? Come back into your code editor and let's, how much time do I have? I have 30 minutes. All right, so an A tag is what we use for links. And then you have this, can anybody remind me what we called this thing here? These things that are inside, the tags, not the content now, the things that are inside the angle brackets of the tags. Can we remember what I called them? Can we remember what we call these things here? Please, I need your answers in the group chat. Can anyone remember? Attributes, correct. Ms. Mary, you're correct. So we call these things attributes. And every A tag has an attribute called href. So, for example, let's say you're typing and you open the A tag and you close it, and then you see, okay, how do I know where this A tag that is a link is going to lead to? That is what the href tag is meant for. All right. And you can see as I'm typing here, VS Code is suggesting to me that, okay, this A tag ought to have an href. All right. So inside these double quotes, this is where you're going to be putting the link that your A tag is going to redirect to. All right. So let's say I want people to click this link and then redirect to, let's say, Google. So let's say I want people to redirect to Google. I'm just going to type in Google's link here. I think that should be google.com. All right. So, I mean, you can add the HTTPS. It's not really necessary. It's not really necessary, but if you want to tell your browser, okay, when you see this A tag, the website that I want people to navigate to when they click on this link is google.com. This is where you tell it. You just put that href attribute that you can see. It contains a URL or URL fragment that the hyperlink points to. So this link points to, Ms. Esther, can you mute your mic? Thank you. All right. So this link here is where we're going to be redirecting to. So you can actually just add text. Okay, let's save this first and see it appears on the page. You come back to redirect to this particular link. So let's say go to Google, right? And I save. If I come back here and refresh, yeah, we have this text here, and you can see it has been highlighted, or it's kind of blue and has been underlined. So that's the default way links will appear in HTML. If you remember that other site as well that I showed you guys, the link appeared, this blue color and underlined. So if we click on this now, we are redirected to, all right, I think, all right, so let me correct something. We're actually going to need to have to add the HTTPS right here, right? Okay, HTTPS : // The reason is because if you just add the link without adding this HTTPS, what's going to happen is that it will try to look for the HTML file to this website on your laptop or on your computer. And Google does not exist on your computer, it exists in the web. So this is what tells the browser that you should be looking at the web for this website and not at my local computer. I don't know if we get that. All right, so let's save that and let's try that again. You can see it's actually looking into my computer, see users to find where google.com is. But of course, it's not going to find it on my laptop, it's in the web. Right, so if I come back to, okay, I think that tab is what I was working with. Let me go back. Right, all right, so if I click on this now, all right, it directs me to google.com, as we can see up here. Okay, If you're following, please react. If you've been able to add a link tag and it's redirected you successfully. All right. All right, that's good. So let's come back now. And so right now, you can see that whenever I click on this link, it's overwriting the current page that I'm on. Like, for me, when I open the link here, page that I was on. So what if you want to redirect someone to a different page like was done here? You see, if I click this link here, it takes me to a new page. So what if I want to actually create a new tab? I want to open that link in a new tab. How do we do that? What we need to do is that we need to come here that is within this opening A tag and add another attribute. And that attribute is going to be called target. Okay? That attribute is going to be called target. And the value is going to be underscore blank. Right? This is just like a convention. It's something that the people who created HTML added so that people can indicate where links are going to be viewed, whether it's in the same browser tab or in a new browser tab. So if you save this and you go back and you refresh and you click, you see it creates a brand new tab. And that is where the Google site. So you see I have my Inspire tab open here and I have my Google tab in the next tab, right? Mr. Yusuf Taiwo, what part of it don't you understand? Please be specific, because I don't want to waste too much time going over everything again. I have a few minutes left and I want to cover as much as possible. So please, if you have a question, just drop it in the chat box, whether YouTube or Zoom. Okay, so I'm not going to be looking at the tables elements, but I want you to go and look that up yourself. One, search for how to create tables using HTML, and how to structure, different columns and different rows using HTML. It's not an assignment, but then it's something that will benefit you in the long run. Okay, so connecting the link to the web. All right, what I said is the link that was here before was just www.google.com. But if you leave this here, what is going to happen is that when the person clicks this link, the browser is going to be looking for google.com inside your own laptop. Because like we said, websites are nothing but HTML pages that are being served from, servers in the cloud, and you can also access HTML pages right there in your computer. So it will be looking for google.com in your computer, whereas google.com does not exist on your PC. It's, in the cloud. It's on a server in the cloud. So we add HTTPS :/ to tell the browser that this link should be opened and you should search for this website, the HTML file for this website on the web, not inside my computer. I hope that's clear. Okay, the last thing I want to look at is the image tag. All right, the image tag. And okay, let me explain something else. So if I create a new file here, you don't need to follow along with me, but if I create a new file here and I say about.html, okay, I create a basic HTML file. Don't follow along with me, please. Just try to just watch. So if this is a different page entirely, it's a different page entirely, and I just have this page right here. And let's say, okay, this page is part of my website because obviously it's inside my project folder. Yeah, it's inside my project folder. So what if I want to navigate to this particular file, this particular page in my website from the index page? What I would need to do is that, okay, let's change this to go to about. All right. So like I said before, when you have a link without this HTTPS, what it's simply saying is that look for this particular website or the page for this website inside my laptop, all right? And the way it works is that it starts searching directly inside the folder that your index.html file is. It searches inside this folder to find a particular file that is associated with the particular website that you're trying to open, or the page you're trying to open. So if I want to navigate to my about.html file, what I need to do is that I need to come in here and tell it inside this particular file, inside this particular computer, in this folder, look for the file named about.html. This is how we link pages together. So about.html, I've linked this particular index.html page with my about.html because when the person clicks on this link, when the user clicks on this link, it's going to look for about.html inside my project folder. I don't know if we get that. All right, so if I come back, okay, let me save first. If I save this and I come back to the browser and I click on this, okay, sorry, I have to refresh first. Let me refresh. And then I click on it. Yeah, it's redirected me to the about page. So this is how we link different pages in your website. You simply add links to them. And if you want the site to appear in your project folder, this is where you add it. You now tell the link inside my project folder, look for about.html. You can see VS Code actually knows that there's an HTML file here. So it's going to tell you, okay, is this the file that you're asking about? Then you can actually press enter and it will, navigate to that particular file for you. So that's just to add something to our knowledge that you can link between pages in your own local website, your own local web page. You can create a new page and then you can add a link to that page. All right, so let's look for a page online, for a picture online rather. Let me look for a picture online. I want to talk about the image tags now. All right, so the image tags will have two properties. Like you can see here, it has an SRC property and an alt property. So the SRC property is simply saying, where is the picture that you want to display located? Okay, the picture that you want to display, where is it located? And the way it works is that, like the link that I showed you earlier, this about.html, because it's here, it's going to, first of all, begin to look for, it doesn't have that HTTP, that HTTP, HTTPS // It doesn't have that. So it knows that, okay, whatever you're looking for is on your laptop. So it's going to start looking inside your project folder to find that file. The same thing happens with images. It's going to start looking within your project folder to find the particular image that you're looking for. So let me add an image here. Let me just add an image here. Download. Should have, let's say, this Chowdeck logo. All right. So what I'm simply doing here is that I'm copying this file, Control C. I hope we're following. If you're following, please react. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. So I'm simply just copying this image into, into my project folder. Okay, I'm just copying the image into my project folder. So if you open up the File Explorer, you'll be able to see that you have index here, about here, and you have the image right here as well. Sorry, I think I need to rename this image. The name is too long. Chowdeck.html. Sorry, Chowdeck. Just rename .html. So Chowdeck here. The image is here. So now, what if I want to add this Chowdeck image to my web page? All I need to do is I need to say chowdeck.png. You have to add the file extension. Just the same way you did here, you have to add the file extension right here. So if I save this now, and I go back to my browser, all right, and I refresh. Wow, the image is quite large. Don't worry, you guys will learn about CSS and styling very soon. But right now, we're dealing with pure HTML. So we have this image right here. And if I wanted to be sleek, I can just come here and say P sponsored by, right? Okay. So we know that we have Chowdeck as our sponsor. If I refresh the page, we can see sponsored by Chowdeck right here. All right, so yeah, the attendance link has been dropped in the chat. Please fill the attendance. Be able to fill it, whether you are joining from YouTube or on Zoom, please fill the attendance link so that I know that you attended. All right. So I think is there any other link I want to, any other tab I want to do? Ms. Miriam, someone said the link isn't going through. But I can see the link here. Can someone please send the link again? Okay, I'm just seeing a question here. P means paragraph. P means paragraph. So the link for Glow users. All right, I think a new link has been dropped. Ms. Aishat, someone is advising you to throw your SIM card away. I think I don't want to spoil Glow's business. I think I'll advise you to, switch to something better. Everywhere you go, MTN is everywhere you go. Switch to MTN. Or if MTN tire you can just buy Starlink. It's not expensive, honestly. So what you're putting, Miss Esther, what you're putting between the two P's is the content that you want to appear on the page. This is your opening P tag, your closing P tag. This is the opening P tag. So what you're putting in between it is the content. I don't know if you get me now. All right. All right, thank you. So yeah, I was, let me see what is next on the slides. All right, so I want you guys to build something today. You don't necessarily have to do it in class here. It's more of an assignment. If you can't use the link, I think maybe you should try another browser because the attendance link is going, and so I don't know who else is having issues. Ms. Anu, I can see what you are doing on our screen. But yeah, the attendance link is in the chat. Please try it again because I can actually open it here. So I don't know why people are having issues with it. All right, so I want you to build a basic HTML page. I want it to be like maybe your bio, something like a bio that says, things about you. You can add a picture of yourself, your name, your position, if you're working. Maybe you can just say you're a student. I know most people are students. I don't know why you'd be a student and you're not looking for something else to do apart from just being a student. In this Nigeria that we are in, God will help you. But yeah, so you can create a bio page. I want you to have your image, a picture of you, what you do, your name first, then what you do. So a picture of you, your name, what you do, a link to your social media. Mr. Emmanuel, please help me with this person that is drawing on the screen. Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Goodness, some help, please. Anyways, yeah. So like I said, I'll drop it in the chat box. So I want a picture of yourself. A picture of yourself. I want your name. Okay, what you do. A list, an ordered list of your hobbies. And okay, let me put this on a sticky note so that everyone can see. All right, so this is what I want. I want a picture of yourself. your name, what you do, an ordered list of your hobbies, an unordered list of your what do I add here now? Okay, let's just do an ordered list of your hobbies, and then a small bio. Well, let's put the bio first for the hobbies. So a small bio, a picture of yourself, your name, what you do, your bio, another list of your hobbies, and then what else can I add? A link to your social media. Okay. So I want you guys to try to attempt this. Just let's have a web page with a picture of yourself, your name, what you do, a short bio, just a few sentences about yourself, and then another list of your hobbies with a link to any of your social media platforms. So I want you guys to try this assignment, and you can drop, let's say drop a picture on the group now. Okay, the way that it will be submitted will be communicated to you. But I think eventually what will happen is that you have to email me your HTML files. All right. I'll drop my email and you send me those HTML files to my email. So what you can do is that you can, this is optional. You can actually add from a different page, maybe an about page or just a different page with different content, and then try to link the two pages together. Although that is optional, but the main assignment is for you to do, this particular first one. All right, so before I jump into questions, I want to remind you guys again. Sorry, can we clean this thing off? I don't know.
I think you should be able to clean it from your hand, Mr. UI. Then,
All right,
secondly, for the assignment, can you drop it on the WhatsApp group? Because dropping it here, some might not be able to catch up with it, but dropping it on the WhatsApp group, it will be more easier for others to also get access to it directly.
Yeah, definitely. I'll drop it on the group. I'll drop it on the group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miriam.
Yes, sir.
All right, so like I said, I just want to remind you guys that everything you see on the web is just HTML. And I want to start by showing you this. In this web page that we created, if you right click on it and you come to this inspect option, right, you see something like this. Okay, for those who are on Replit on mobile, you might not be able to see this. I think you even should, but it might be more complicated to arrive here. So, but you can see that your entire HTML structure is here. This is what the browser is seeing. It's seeing an HTML page with a head tag, with the body tag, with the H1, H2, H3, and all of this. So it's basically just HTML. And so if you go to a website like Netflix, let's say Netflix, okay, all right, and you do the exact same thing. You right click on inspect, and you come here. You see, it's the exact same thing. It's just HTML, the head tag, but of course, there's a lot more going on because it's Netflix. I mean, what do you expect? So, but then you still have your body tag, you have the head tag, the body tag, you have the div tag. You have, okay, I didn't talk to you guys about the div tags. Let me quickly touch that. A div tag it's just like a container for anything you want. You can put literally anything in a div tag, whether it's a paragraph, an image, a link, a URL, an li. In fact, I can wrap everything else here in a div tag, right? I can open it down here, and then I can close it down here. All right? I see the page structure adjusts when I format my, okay, I'm using an extension. Like I said, I'll drop a list of the extensions that I use so that you can explore them as well. So, but this is the way it is now. You can wrap anything you want in a div What a div just does is that it helps you to separate your content. There are many, many, many other HTML tags. We have divs. We have divs. All right. We have sections. Right. We have header. Not header. We have header. We have footer. We have span. All right. So in addition to the assignment I gave earlier, I want you guys to research about these 4 tags. Okay. Okay, let me add one more. Let me add this. Okay, no, let's leave out main. Since it's just the basics we're looking at. Let's try to research about these 4 tags and how we can apply them in the assignment. All right. So as a hint, your header is usually what appears at the top of a page. Okay. The header is what appears at the top of a page. Your footer, like, of course, logically, is what appears at the very bottom. So literally, let's see, everything right from here was wrapped inside a footer component, a footer tab. Okay. So usually the header is what appears at the top of your screen, and the footer is what appears at the bottom of the screen. So I want you to research on each of these 4 tags and try to figure out how you can add them into your projects for the assignment. All right. So yeah, what I just wanted to show you is that everything you see on the web is HTML that just has some modifications here and there. So you can see you have div tags, you have a header here, more div tags. Trying to see if there's an image tag close by. You have an A tag, a link. You have, the other tags here. You can see scripts. You learn about most of these other things, in other lessons. So my job was just for you to get this basic understanding of, HTML, and, let's get curious. Let's try to experiment. Let's try to see what we can come up with. If you have any questions for me, please drop them in the chat box now. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to assume that we don't have any questions. It means I did a good job. Someone is asking for attendance link. So we have no questions. All right, so I'll drop the assignment in the, okay, you want me to switch to this? This is what you need. This is the page here. This is the one I did. And if you want the code, I can drop the code as well. So you can build on that. All right. So in the absence of questions, okay, the code, right? Yeah, I'll drop the code in the group as well. So I'll drop the assignment and the code in the group. So the assignments will be submitted to my email. I'll also add that detail on the group so we can attend to that. So in the absence of any other questions, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming along. And okay, I'm seeing the question here. What happens if you don't start the whole coding with index.html? Right? Yeah, let me just quickly show that to you. So if I didn't add any of this, like I said, the only thing that is truly really necessary here is the body tab. If I did this and I saved and I came back to the browser and refreshed, you'll still see everything, because like I said in the beginning of the class, the browser actually infers most of these other tags. It adds them for you automatically, but now you can customize them yourself by adding them, specifically, and giving yourself a better structure. So this is the standard for creating HTML, and I'm going to drop this in the group for everyone. All right, so thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Really, really enjoyed the class, and I hope you guys were able to learn one or two from this. And I'll be expecting our assignments, let's say before the next class, right? Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Miss Miriam, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ewa. It has been a very wonderful class, and I believe everybody has learned one or two things from this. Because even me as well, I'll start doing this coding stuff. So, Mr. Ewa, you can reach out to me if you have a project you are not able to complete, because I'm very sure I'll be able to attend to it with the little knowledge you have shared with us. So, saying that we don't have any question, and if you still have any question, you can drop that on the WhatsApp group, or you DM me.
Miss Miriam, I don't think we can hear you again. All right, I think we can close up here. I think what she was trying to say is that if you have any other questions, generally you can send a DM to her and take care of the questions. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Have a lovely rest of the day.
All right. So that was, I have the network glitch actually. So as I was saying, if you have a question, you can drop it on the WhatsApp. I'll open the WhatsApp group now so we can drop our question if you have any question regarding that. And the assignment as well will be dropped on the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And to the Muslims among us, Happy Eid al-Fitr. So we also wish to wish each and every one of us a wonderful celebration. Do enjoy the rest of your day and week. Thank you very much for joining. And to our wonderful facilitator, thank you very much. We really appreciate. And I think everybody, just like me, has learned one or two things with the class that we have done. So do have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you very much.